psychopaths are extremely fascinating and can make some of the greatest characters in any show. But hey, I know what you're thinking.
Hey Tao, you're pure evil. How can you like the bad guy? Look at the good guy over there fighting for justice.
And my response to that is simple. Good guys are mid.
You shut the fuck up!
I mean, who cares about a goody-goody two-shoes who we see in every single anime to ever exist? Who will be able to defeat all their enemies with the power of friendship? Frick that, I want to see more people win with their minds alone. Or get more of a true anime psycho like Goku. I mean, who goes around putting their entire universe at risk? Only a psycho would. But honestly, one of my favorite characters of all time and one of the best psychos in anime. A character I relate to the most. And this man is Izaya Orihara from Durarara. Oh yeah, baby, we're finally talking about one of the best characters in all of anime, and the character I relate to the most in all of anime. Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what we're waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo! Izaya is probably the definition of a psychopath. This man is an absolutely manipulative mastermind. You know when you're a kid and you're willing to follow your friend anywhere and your parents ask you the hypothetical of, if your friend asks you to jump off the cliff, would you? And of course you will always answer, of course not. Izaya could make you do it. If Izaya asked you to get on your hands and knees and bend over, you would. This man is extremely manipulative and could make you do a lot of things. Izaya Orihara is a powerful and skilled underground information broker. He usually gets information for his own enjoyment and he claims to love the entire human race. Except Shizuru. He is also his eternal rival. Shizuru is Izaya's arch enemy, his complete polar opposite. And of course his eternal lover, according to the Yaoi fangirls. Izaya is probably one of the biggest antagonists of this show. And if we're being all honest, he is a very similar character to someone like Hisoka in terms of being an antagonist. Hey, at least Psychopath runs in the family with his two sisters who are totally not lesbian lovers. Which totally doesn't make every time they're on screen awkward. No, sorry, why would anyone assume that? Totally not me. In terms of similarities, I share the most with Izaya Orihara. I'm practically Izaya if he was an introvert. Just like him, I'm stimulated by my environment and his people. And heck, I sometimes enjoy watching people discerning meanings of their life. I mean, when I see someone leave their trash out in the middle of a theater, I beat them up. You leave your grocery cart out, I will beat you up. And if you... Oh, that isn't something he would do. Okay, for real. Every time someone leaves their trash out in the theater, I manipulate them to jump off the roof. If you leave your grocery cart, I shank you. Bam! I am exactly like Izaya Orihara now. What do you mean I'm going to jail? Let's face it, even if Izaya went to prison, he has too many connections that prison would end up just being a mansion to him. Izaya and I are practically the same person. We both have connections that can help us in multiple ways. We both wear similar clothes and jackets, and we clearly have the same hair color. I said we had the same hair color! Thank you! God, my editor sucks. See, I told you, we're the exact same on more than just one occasion. Plus, we are both handsome assholes. And finally, we are the exact same height at 175 centimeters. Or for all you peasants out there, 5'9". Izaya, a man who starts conflicts indirectly or directly. A man who sometimes ends the conflicts, and he will rarely ever take part in the conflict. He usually likes to observe the fighting instead of directly taking part in it. However, when he gets provoked, he quickly puts his opponent in his place by simply proving his superiority without actually being the other person. He usually seen as the one starting fights but hiding in the shadows instead of directly taking part in it. Izaya claims to love humanity, although his definition of love is much different than one would assume. His definition is sexual. I mean, he loves how unpredictable human nature can be, and that is what he specifically loves the most about humanity. He greatly enjoys putting people in enjoyable or chaotic situations in order to observe their reactions. With a close understanding of how human behavior and tendency work, he is able to determine people's thoughts and predict their reaction with high accuracy. He just does not miss with these predictions. He can probably predict when someone decides to go to the bathroom or how Oda will end One Piece. Izaya is cunning and charming, but his manipulative nature prevents him from making any genuine or lasting bonds with anyone, just like me. He has a jolly and mocking personality, speaking informally with most people as if they are close friends and often using nicknames, such as Shizu-chan for Shizuru. He even talks like a girl on occasion, particularly online, where he actually does pretend to be a female. During conflict, he plays both sides so that whoever wins, he will have the advantage. So this isn't me. Or is it? No, for real, I would never do that. Or would I? Funny enough, Izaya is only really mentioned throughout the first episode, and we really don't see him until his first appearance, where he kidnapped some random girl named Rio who's not really important to talk about. So no wonder why her father cheated on her mother. Izaya was able to manipulate her into almost committing seppuku, or the Sudoku. He makes a pact with Manami and another girl. The man is legit a psychopath. Izaya has spoken to the two under the screen name Nakara and convinced them to commit with him. This so-called pact is just merely a ploy. He exposes his plan to the two as the drugs he planted in their dreams begin to kick in. Then he just has Celti cart their unconscious bodies home. And Celti, who is the best wife of the show and no one can say otherwise. So what if I'm into girls with no heads? So what? She has a head. It's just not attached to her body. Dude, she's hot. And she has such a cute personality. Izaya is a guy who pulls every single string throughout this series. And when Mikado started to change, Izaya was the one leading the change. Mikado fell right into Izaya's plan. He needed this new Mikado come out to start a gang war so that his new dream could come true. Izaya's ultimate goal is to create a gang war between Mikado, Masayomi, and Anri, where only he remains as a victor because he believes in Celti, who is basically a Valkyrie. And if the gang war were to take place, she would show him whether or not there is a true afterlife. This was his true final goal. He doesn't really care whether or not people live or if they die. He only cares about himself and his end goal. And the only way to get there is this gang war. This man is the definition of a full-fledged psychopath. He wants to see his end goal come to be. He does not care what steps need to be taken to get there. Even if the steps required results in his own death, he would not care and would still proceed to his end goal. Izaya, even when he was a child, was still a psychopath. He would still mess with Chizuru, come up with plans to be able to run the school. As children, we were vastly different because I was no model student. This man was a vice president of the elementary student council. He was a star of sports meetings and winning independent research awards, as well as poetry awards, slogan awards, and participating in essay contests. Having all this with good looks and a respectable family made him well known, especially with his girl classmates. Izaya was not really loved or hated since he went through school life in a withdrawn state. He usually preferred to observe everything from afar, carrying out his philosophy to be neither too close nor too far from the others. Okay, never mind, that was exactly like me in high school. Izaya is the literal definition of someone playing 5D chess when everyone else is playing checkers. His minds and wits are unmatched in the city. Izaya is known to be one of the strongest men in Ikebukuro, although the title of strongest man belongs to Chizuru. Izaya likes to start a fight with Chizuru unless Chizuru chases him around for fun. In the beginning, when we first hear about Izaya, he is just simply described as dangerous. And throughout the series, we see this more and more. We found out the reason for him being dangerous isn't just because of how intelligent he is, but how unpredictable he can be. Izaya is unpredictable with everything. He could be taking over the world, then the next thing you know, he's ordering a pineapple pizza, because that is the greatest topping for a pizza. Change my mind. His unpredictable nature, his pure amount of wits he has, and the strategy he puts into each plan makes him extremely dangerous. When he was planning on fighting Chizuru in a 1v1, he decided to put down some gas and make him go through some issues of staying awake. As the series progresses, people do confirm that Izaya was not dangerous per se, but more like unstable. See boys, I'm not dangerous.
I am only unstable.
He's a person most of the characters, himself included, could never trust because they never know what he could or would do. Throughout most of the series, he does not play a necessarily big role in it. He does have his moments where he's a major character, but most of the time he's only in the background. That is where he shines the most though. His character is supposed to be the guy in the shadows. Even though he is unpredictable, it doesn't mean that he's invincible and can never be caught off guard. Chizuru has been able to fight and land a few hits on him. There was even a moment where he got stabbed because he wasn't cautious enough. Izaya might be my top 5 favorite characters of all time. I relate to him way too much as well as like him way too much. Maybe the reason I love him so much is because of how much I love myself and it just only feeds my ego further, but probably the true reason is just because of how amazing of a character he is. Someone who I am intrigued by his motives and wanting to see how these motives came to be. Izaya was the type of character that I couldn't get enough of because of how unpredictable he was. And not just that, I wanted to see more of how Izaya became this way. Was he always like this or did something happen, and learning how he came to be like this made his character even better. Izaya may not have a super tragic backstory or the motives of someone like Kira who just wants to live a normal life, but he is probably one of my favorite characters to watch. His unpredictable nature and his witty nature has been shown countless of times, and one of the final ways we see this is by him playing a twisted version of checkers, usually using a combination of chess, reversi, and shogi pieces with himself in his apartment. He often uses the chessboard as a representation of the battles in Ikebukuro, giving him the fitting appearance of the one who watches over the world and controls the actions of others. And honestly, this is something people like Lelouch or Akashi would do. The rules he plays by are also beyond normal people, which seems to be a metaphor for the way he lives his life. He does not take his chess games to be a serious representation of the world. However, as he usually prefers to observe people acting as they see fit instead of controlling them, and he even once set fire to his chess set in his own excitement. I love this man, nothing else can stop me from loving Izaya. He is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Izaya is a very cunning and tough to beat psychopath. He is the one type of person you never want to run into on the street, because if he interacts with you, you are now a part of his plan. Whether it's to start a game war or in some cases just to kill you, he has an interest in you. He has some ulterior motives involved for you. Izaya has the cunning and manipulative nature of someone like Sosuke Aizen or Johann Liebert, with the personality of Hisoka just without the pedo part. I doubt there would be another being who can take my attention away at all from Izaya. No way whatsoever. And oh my god, is that Boa Hancock? Thank you everyone for all the support you have given me with my latest videos. It really means so much to me to see the support I've been getting with all these videos. I really have been enjoying what I've been making, and honestly I'm happy you guys enjoy it too. But I would like to also announce I have a Patreon now. If you would like to support me there, it will really be appreciated and will go a long ways to be able to help me make more videos, be able to help me invest in higher quality editing software so I can learn and make even better content for you folks. And of course, every tier will have different benefits, such as early access to videos, being able to recommend series or characters for me to make videos on, and of course one-on-one sessions and so much more. Once again, thank you all for the support, and for all who has supported me on Patreon, thank you so much.